Good evening, kindred. Welcome back to our chronicle. Last, we saw our coterie. They faced off against a Semitsi holed up within Anarch territory, within the south side of DC. As the night came to an end, and the group disposed of all the suspects that remained, the group parted ways. Yet, as the sun rose and set again, we give way to our dearest Toreador. Tonight we shall follow a journey within DC through the eyes of our very own Rose, a few nights after where we last left off. Please enjoy. Razors pain you, rivers are damp. Acids stain you, and drugs cause cramp. Guns aren't lawful, nooses give, gas smells awful. You might as well live. Dorothy Parker. It has been 5 days since our coterie has last seen each other. They have gone about with their nightly lives, without so much as a slight ripple within the complicated mess that was DC politics. That kindred died, yet as far as you were all aware, the bubble had moved on. Not a slight care or even a whisper has happened since the passing of your foe. Yet tonight, as we come to the enriched city streets of the DuPont Circle, we see our very own Toreador, covered in blood and bruises of his own defeat. Standing over him in a few darkened alleys that exist within this part of the city was the notorious Bruja, only known by the name of David Menendez. He was a known live wire. May have suspected him of being someone that was eerily close to switching sides. Yet, as many Bruja were known to do, he was also quick to frenzy. Decked in a black wife beater, gold chains, jeans, and a leather jacket, this man looked absolutely furious. He was beyond pissed. If anything, it was a relief that he hasn't frenzied on you. Yet, it would be a lie to say that he wasn't eerily close to doing so. He looked down at you, sneering in disgust, as his boys did the same, standing only in silence as they waited for you to grovel at his feet. Him and his ilk were proud, and you knew that better than anyone else. Let me ask you something, Ajax. May you please roll me 5 dice?
Any blood?
We'll see. No blood dice for right now.
3 successes.
3 successes. Highs or lows?
High.
High. Okay. With high, let's say you have 2 knocked off your superficial wise off your tracker for right now. As it stands, you are injured sufficiently. It seems like for some reason he was holding off on you, like he was granting you a slight mercy in all his benevolence, as it were to seem. He didn't like you, let alone really knew you that well, yet still he was seemingly doing you a favor. He pulled the cancer stick away from his lips and exhaled the smoke from his nostrils. As the cigarette had grown to be shorter than the size of his fingernails, he leaned down almost as if he was getting on your level and looked you in your eyes. As the dancing embers of the cigarette began to die, he decided the best alternative for an ashtray was your face. Now I'm going to ask you to roll me composure and resolve. No difficulty on this one.
Coincidentally, 5 dice. 2.
2 successes. At 2 successes, the burning manages to make you flinch. It is fire, of course, yet it isn't something that is going to make you frenzy, at the very least. He frowned as he looked down on you, now pulling away. You're no fun. The vigor he had when he was beating the living shit out of you just a few moments ago vanished, completely snuffed out. It seemed like he was bored. All that was left in his eyes was just resentment at this point. He wasn't even entertained by the fact that he just made you flinch and squirm away from him. You know, Vivian told me about you. I couldn't really give less than a shit about you. All you fucking prissy Jotos are the same. Yeah, then when I got word from my boy that he saw you in the South Side fucking up shit, I thought about burning you and your little burning to the fucking ground.
I can't help the things that you hear about. I can help when you trespass on my territory and I'm in the middle of about to sign a contract and you think that you can steal away talent from me. That's not how this goes. And you can ash on whoever you want, but unless you plan on taking my head, eventually you and I will get square.
Square?
Oh, yeah.
When are you Toreadors ever known for getting square? And let me just clear things up for you. I don't give a shit about your little business here. Kine are only good for blood bags. Don't see the purpose in this. However, I owed Vivian a favor, but it helped sweeten the deal just a little bit when I heard that you fucked up shit with the circulatory system. You know they're above sect, right? They don't take shit from a bunch of fucking kids on a job.
Well, it's good to know that my sire's still spreading rumors and digging her fingernails into the nearest piece of shit that she could find. And obviously, she has a very petite nose this time around.
Rumors?
Doesn't she?
I don't need rumors. I think you're a bit mistaken. I
You're
know
here,
where
aren't
you
you?
were. I know where you were 5 days ago.
Nah.
Don't play fucking cute with me.
You know rumor and innuendo. That's all you know.
No, I do more than, suck dick and ask around for talent. Bruja actually have some sort of stance here, unlike you. Do you know where all your nice bubbly blood comes from when you don't fucking hunt? That was Katarina. She was supplying it for the DMV, and now the supply is gone and the circulatory system will be on your ass.
Well, that may be so, if what you say is true. However, there is one thing that you are mistaken about. I don't have to get my sources from certain areas. I'm like you.
And how is that? Because
I have
as
my
I
stock.
see it, my
It's
dude
quite
is this
rich.
close to your face.
Well, wouldn't be the first time. It definitely won't be the last time, but at least I pay for my shoes.
I don't really care about how bourgeois you type tend to act. However, I just want you to remember this. The next time you go to any little V party with your little friends, think about who was supplying that blood for you. Because right now, this whole fucking area, out of it. And you were the one that fucking did it. Your precious little velvet pisses where she isn't supposed to.
He just stares up at him at this point. He knows he can't beat him. He knows he has 2 or 3 other people backing him up. He goes to attempt to stand up.
What are you attempting to stand for now? You think you have a cause you want to die for?
If my sire wanted me dead, she'd at least have the balls to come do it herself. Obviously, yours aren't large enough.
I'm sure Vivian would like that. She wants fuck all to do with you now, but I just want to remind you, this is a job for me. You Toreador are only interesting for a few minutes at a time.
The At least we keep our priorities in check. Unlike you every 15 minutes.
Do you want to repeat that to me again, or should I make your face putty?
As he takes 2 or 3 steps forward and he leans right up to his ear. At least we have our priorities straight. I didn't even stutter that time.
Okay. We're going to... I wasn't planning on this. We're going to do some rolls. So he's going to attempt to punch you. You want to try and dodge out of the way or something?
Sure.
Sure. Okay.
Sure.
Let's do that.
He doesn't want to get hit.
I would hope you don't.
He might be an asshole, but he doesn't want to get hit.
Okay. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. 1.
I have 6 successes. How many do you have?
1.
What say you?
Uno.
Oh. With that many successes, unfortunately, you're not allowed to really back up your words. It seems as though Menendez did make through with his point and was about to make you putty. While it wasn't with his boot, it was still the same thing. After punching you down to the ground, offended that you managed to get that close to him and talk back to him with such indignance behind it. He really doesn't go easy on you. With potence at that just added to it, almost as if what restraint he had before wasn't there. He, of course, lets up after maybe 1 or 2 minutes, but still doesn't take away from the fact that he did add, more damage to your bar. I'm going to ask you to roll 5 dice again, no hunger, just to let's see how angry he was.
I think I can accomplish that.
This was supposed to be the nice episode, guys.
2 crits and a 10.
Okay, so at that, he only does... So now you're at 3 superficial damage for the night. It seems like he was angry, but you've been through worse, generally speaking.
As he goes to get up, he spits out a tooth.
The next time you talk back to me, make sure you can back it up. And also, think next time before you think you're helping a movement, because you're not even fucking worth it. Him and the rest of his boys are about to turn the other way. You can talk back to him again, maybe if you want to. However, it seems now that he was simply going to leave you beaten and broken on the ground. He didn't really want to bother with you anymore. It seems like whatever directions Vivian gave to him, it seemed like it didn't really override his thought, nor his resentment at this point, to the point where it led him to kill you.
Ajax is resistant. He's not stupid.
Okay.
So he's not going to say anything more. And eventually, when he does get his senses together, he'll try to get up and straighten himself out. His pants are completely dirty now. Shirt semi-torn asunder. The glasses he tends to adorn are bent outward. So he simply picks them up, tries to bend them back, slips them in his front pocket.
As you do that, you recall what Menendez just said to you. It was the last thing your sire said to you before she left you. You can remember it as clear as day. It was the night you decided to leave the Camarillo, when the Camarillo was still in the city. Her long black hair flowed down her back, her brown eyes pierced you. Her porcelain skin, forever painted in piercings and tattoos, took you in its entirety. yet her lips, as plush and pink as they were curled into a frown, almost as if she was disappointed in you. The very thing she was thinking lingered in her eyes as you pushed away from her one last time. But if you had any confusion as to what she thought, she made it rather clear to you. You should learn not to compete with me, because I always win. It was hard to think after all these years she still wanted assurance that you were dead, or were at the very least under her stiletto heels. Yet still, if you knew one thing about Vivian, it was she was vengeful. She was a spiteful woman who almost relished in the misgivings of her foes. You could almost hear the light chime of her voice whispering to you, "I told you so." However, as you're left on your own, bitterness of her visage fading from your mind, you are left with your office building, your phone, and what remains of your goodwill. What do you now? What do you do now?
Well, I tear up the contract that was sitting in my back pocket because it's kind of useless now. I attempt to gather myself together, call an Uber, and I'm probably going to head over to the shadow room, get a change of clothes, straighten up a little bit, probably attempt to contact the coterie to see what's up and give them a heads up that rumors spreading about our exploits, unfortunately.
Okay, so all of them do get that text messages, don't even have to roll for that. Do you want to get in contact with anyone? Do you want to call anyone?
After texting, I'd probably call my favorite Ventru, because there has to be liability where all this shit just popped off, obviously.
Okay, well, you give
I
her
told
a
him I
call.
get square.
He's not in the vicinity. You are so lucky. Either way,
I didn't say how.
you make the call. What say you? Do you pick up?
Hello?
Hey, girl.
Hey, boy, what's up?
I wish I could tell you over the phone. However, let's just say a mutual Rocky Balboa likes to turn me into a punching bag once again, and I just can't keep my fucking mouth shut.
Do I know what you're talking about?
Again, I don't want to mention any names over the phone, but this isn't the first time it happened. I think you have a pretty good idea who.
Let's meet at the shadow room. How about that?
Absolutely.
I'll
It's
meet
like
there
you
in
know me
5.
too well.
I'll meet you there in 5. You have to say anything more, not until your lawyer shows up.
That's why I called you.
Be right there.
So that she's making her way towards you. Do you want anyone else from your coterie to show up?
I text them all the address.
Okay. So Lyra, Cyran, you all get the text without any problem. Persephone, your assistant, got it for you, so she will be picking you up, of course. So 10-15 minutes pass by. They all make their way to the shadow room, to your club. Would you like to give a description of it?
Absolutely. So the shadow room is an older venue that got renovated. You can access it from a public street, or on the opposite end, it's a public parking lot. But in between, there's a tunnel area that you can get into several businesses, with cascading different tones of brick and mortar. The entrance to Shadow Room is darkened in and has an inlet that has a set of heavy wooden Gothic-esque double doors. And when they open up, you have a couple of bouncers and a podium that has a red velvet rope that is extended across, and a couple of heavy curtains. If you are beneficial enough to be on that special list, you are admitted inside. everyone who was sent a text was put on the list, and upon entering, you have a choice of a cascading stairwell that either goes up to your right or down to your left. The one up to your right leads into a meshed cage set of steps that go up to a second tier. Everything is suspended from the ceiling by heavy cables. And it leads off into a section that has heavily draped off curtains that come down from a ceiling that you really can't see the top of, but several VIP areas with heavy security on top. If you choose to take the stairwell that goes down to the floor, it has an open venue area that has a stage to the back, a bar off to the right, a huge open area, either depending on the type of music or entertainment, for dance, for private concerts, comedians, what have you. And the entire interior seems very industrial-esque, with the same brick-toned formations from outside inside. At the very rear, at the end of the bar, there's several other doors that you can assume either lead to kitchen areas or an office or whatnot.
Now, with that being said, your ghoul or your retainer, Percy's also there. He sees the disheveled state you're in, and he just seems a bit panicked. Unlike his typical cool, calm, and collected self, he ushers you in, makes sure you're, settled and situated. Do you need anything from me, sir? Is there anything I can do?
Not particularly, but I do have a couple of guests. Obviously, Viola, but the other ones will definitely be asking where I am. He would reach into his pocket, hand over a piece of paper. These are the three names, and one of them might be carrying a dog. For tonight, it's okay. And just send them all upstairs. I have to go get changed real quick. And he would see he's obviously physically disheveled. But make them comfortable. Special service upstairs. Only the red crystal.
Of course. I'll make that happen. Make yourself at home, sir.
And it's good to see you actually cleaned up. I got tired of those jumpsuits.
Have to look a bit different. Have to justify the pay you're giving me.
Well, we're just trying to stay in business, right, Mom?
Of course.
It ain't perfect.
Nothing ever is.
Yeah. I just don't want you looking like an institutional gangster, that's all.
I came from Prince George's. What can you expect?
This is very true. And he heads off to the office.
Now, everyone else, you're all arriving in your modes of transportation. How are you all looking tonight? What are the thoughts in your head after the text that you either got directly or through your assistant?
Well,
Lyra. Viola is prompt. She shows up still in her crisp outfit. She had been to night court earlier, so she is in her very sharp, very well done, well made, well tailored skirt and blazer combination with a sort of ruffled black blouse underneath that's sleeveless underneath. She'll be out of her car. Her driver has opened the door for her, and she kind of gives the nod for him to just either do a roundabout, and she'll call him when she needs him. So that's sort of their universal signal. She's also sporting the black 6-inch stiletto with the red on the inside, tights with the long seam at the back that just makes her slightly more taller than she is. She heads to the bar, or heads through into the actual club itself, full of intent and just businesslike, very, very to the front. If she passes Percy on the way, she'll look his way and be like, Percy.
Good evening, Miss Cesario.
Is he where I think he is?
Yes, in his usual place. Please do not be unnerved by his appearance. That's all I can ask.
From the shit that I've seen you in your jumpsuits. I've not been unnerved before. By the way, love this look. Turn around.
He does as you ask.
Makes her ass look great. Don't change a thing. And she just walks on.
Typical DC residents. He says this in an endearing way, almost as if he's used to your compliments.
She politely chuckles just so he can hear it. Huh.
Everyone else?
And then she heads right to Ajax's office.
Okay. Everyone else?
Well, Lyra doesn't really have any clubbing clothes, but she does have a couple sweater dresses, and a nice coat, and a hat to cover her balding head. So she'll show up in that.
Do you have your dog with you?
Yeah. She'll try to pass it off as like a one of those service animals or something.
Percy promptly sees you and notes the dog and says, "Yep, you mentioned it. Miss Lyra, is it?"
Yeah, I need to bring my dog in. It's a dog to help me with things. Hope that's okay. And then she'll just kind of scoot past him.
He's upstairs. He tries to act confident with you. It seems like he doesn't really know what to say to you and doesn't even want to engage at all. So he's just like, yeah, whatever. I'm not getting paid enough to ask.
Okay, thanks. And then she'll head upstairs and look around for people.
Cyran, Persephone.
Well, Persephone is also coming from the office, so she's in her classic power suit and gold choker as always. She has assistant drop her off, but then she gives assistant the rest of the night off. She marches in and said, "Wow, nice place. Can't believe I've stopped by here before. Are you the help or what?"
Yes, I am, man. Ajax has told me that he would like you upstairs. If you need anything from me, I will be right here.
Perfect. Thank you. She saunters away upstairs, just ready to get whatever needs to be done over with.
Last but not least.
Summoned at quick notice, Cyran is in like medical scrubs that at least this time do not have fresh blood on them. He's in those and just like tennis shoes.
He looks over at you. Our Halloween event isn't until a few weeks off. I think you're a bit mistaken, sir.
I was told to come as soon as I could.
Oh, you're Cyran, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, you don't recognize me from the body bag drop-offs?
I don't know who you are, man. I'm not paid enough to ask what you do. Upstairs.
You know what? That's totally fair.
Minimum wage in this city ain't that much. Upstairs.
Oh yeah, I'm way above your pay grade. Cyran set it up.
So you all make it upstairs. You see Ajax beaten, bloody, raggedy, not his typical crisp, fresh self. You all take a seat, of course.
I feel like I've seen you worse.
You have, but today's laundry day, obviously.
Jesus, who did you upset today?
Well,
only one person.
What's today? Thursday? I forgot to check my calendar. So
I don't know.
you don't really have to worry about.
Haven't been out of the morgue in like 3 days. I don't even know what day it is.
Yeah.
Or no.
You don't really have to worry about this as much. We do have a little problem, though, that stems from a couple of days ago. And as he's about to talk, a server actually comes in with an ice chest bucket that's on a pedestal in sterling silver. Sets it off to the side of the table. The bottle that's brought over looks pristine and ornate, and for frequent goers of clubs, it would appear to be something that resembles Cristal. Cristal is not red, and it is corked off, and the top of the cork is covered in red wax, with several champagne flutes. The server nods and takes off, and he picks it up and starts pouring a couple as he continues speaking. So apparently, I had to find out in the shittiest of circumstances, obviously, that our tirade that happened in the South did not go unnoticed. So just to give everybody a heads up, they feel it's our fault that
Who is they?
Apparently the current contingent here that isn't alive, excluding us, that we apparently pissed off the circulatory system. And for some reason, well, apparently for some reason now they're cutting off this section of the city.
Worse, you cut the supply. You have no way of getting it to there.
Yeah.
God damn it, I wish more people would give us more details. Why don't I ask for more details? Jesus Christ.
So
she takes a big swig of her champagne flute in like not the most delicate way that you should be drinking a champagne flute.
When Lyra gets her champagne flute, she'll ask, is this made from people?
It's vitae. It is.
Yeah, it's not pig stock.
Yikes.
Forgive me. I don't deal at a butcher shop.
Okay, I don't think I can drink this. Ooh.
I'll handle your glass for you. If you know.
Look, for all you know, it's donated.
I still won't. I just can't mentally get past that. No, thank you.
You do what you got to do, honey. I am not insulted in the least. However, I was brought up the proper way, and hospitality goes a certain length.
Oh, we forget about that these days.
Some people do.
You also have to ask to be let in as well, and yet, who does that anymore, really? To each their own. As to
we do.
So long as you're able to feed and like, refresh yourself. That's
apparently we have a problem.
All right. Does the problem have a name and an address?
Well.
Oh, we're going to stop it like we did last time, aren't we?
Yeah.
It worked on that one.
And yet we're still paying for that one. So a little concerned about, repeat mistakes.
Look, I'm just saying, at a certain point, if you keep bumping off the messengers, they'll stop sending them.
Right, but that's normally when the generals show their faces themselves, and I would rather deal with the messengers.
All right.
I'm not saying we don't figure out what to do, but last time we went in blind, which is what caused this whole problem. So do you have any leads on where we can get any more information before we just dive right in?
So, as a reminder, it has been 5 days since your last adventure. Let's put it like that. You haven't heard a thing from Velvet. She's kind of been clear of her usual hangouts. According to James, the chauffeur that you so kindly left behind, at the beginning of this week. He said that she was busy with kindred business, talking to people like the lovely Russian woman that you have seen the last time you've managed to make it up into her office. Of course, you don't know what that business entails, but given how things are looking within this city, you don't necessarily think that business is going too well, per se.
Though it is probably, if I'm to guess, busy kissing ass to whatever she possibly can about this situation. Oh,
Look,
I didn't do anything. I had no hand in this.
If she didn't want me to go thermonuclear, she shouldn't have pointed me at somebody I could have easily mistaken for a Bali.
Exactly.
She might actually be in trouble.
Closer.
You know, she might actually be in trouble or in hiding. I haven't seen her pop up on her OnlyFans all week.
Yeah. I haven't really heard word from her either, which is sometimes concerning because she is a bit of an attention whore. So
a little bit.
That or she's hiding from us, which could also be a possibility.
But blissful silence for nights at a time.
I actually was able to get a lot of catch up done. Do you know the amount of paperwork of freaking a lot of victims were found? Not a bad thing. It was just a very busy night at the office. Few days.
When I was going to say, nights must be pretty quiet.
Lawsuits were being filed. I had to dodge stuff. Great income. I can live for the next 5 years comfortably. But that was a whole lot of mess. There's a lot of fallout from that. And we do need to take that into consideration going forward.
No, I've been working on the political side of that super fun PR clusterfuck for the week, so I get that.
Yeah, what is the masquerade reason for a whole house exploding and all those people being outside it?
Easily a meth lab.
Yeah.
With all the people?
Absolutely.
I mean, there's
absolutely everything. It makes sense.
Have you heard about the drug addiction plague in this city? Plus, there was the gas leak, which is what made the whole meth lab explode.
Kind of weird.
From what you all have heard, or at least from what assistant, otherwise known as I, has told you, I said that according to the FBI, it was some drug-addicted pimps from Prince George's County in Maryland who had a few pop-up locations around DC, Maryland, as well as Virginia. However, with the main one being within DC, within the South Side, it has caused a lot of fervor. A lot of people are saying that the FBI and the Justice Department and law enforcement in general haven't been doing their job, that, these reports from missing people have been going on forever, practically, without any notice or so much as a care. Yet still, it was mostly swept under the rug as, law enforcement not having the necessary resources it takes to track down all these people. Couple along with this, the people that Lyra managed to get out of the house in time, they're on life support, more or less. They're alive in varying conditions. A lot of them are stuck within different hospitals all around the DC metro area, of course. However, as it stands, a lot of their families are more upset with recovery than they are with, them just being deemed missing. However, it is allowing them to move on nonetheless.
Well, it sucks that their name is slandered after all that work, but at least they didn't die like that. That's all I can say.
Yeah, well, again, there's not much to really fix this